how can you teach your kids and teenagers to create value everywhere they go? There's lots of types of value out there, and money is just the return of one of them. And if you can do that, you don't have to worry about a job. People are going to be hunting you down to have you work for them, or the businesses that you start, the customers will be finding you like crazy. I think you're light years ahead, Sophia. I mean, I don't think I've met that many 16-year-olds that are sending letters around for real estate. That's an unbelievable thing. But I'll say this, Sophia. Everybody worries about, oh no, what if I miss my calling? Or what if I don't find that perfect person? No. Forget all that. It's called the sweet spot. It's a triangle. You love it, you're good at it, and it really helps a ton of other people and creates a ton of value.
Look at her. She has a little bit of like tears. So I think she has an idea of what possibly could be that one thing that you love to do, right? Oh.
What is it?
No, I don't know, but that whole thing and how to figure it out is gonna help me.
Get ready for the next iteration of you on your path to becoming wealthy. On this show, you'll get the insider's view on wealth creation, the class none of us got taught in school, with my co-host, daughter, and beginning investor, Sophia Bosch. And now, let's get started. Welcome to Becoming Wealthy. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. I have my co-host today, of course, here with
Sophia Bosch.
And we have a very special guest. We have our very first gentleman actually here on the Becoming Wealthy podcast, and his name is Scott Donnell. He is the best-selling author of the book Value Creation Kit: The Healthy Struggles Your Children Need to Succeed. He has served over 6 million families already, and he is, I think, launching an app that I'm all excited to hear about called GravyStack that is teaching basically financial competency to kids. And so welcome to the show, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm dressed up as Darth Vader today.
Yeah.
Halloween. So I'm excited to do this with you guys. And then I'm out doing parties and bounce houses with the family and our friends. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the moment that I was introduced to you, I went and, checked you out. I realized only a couple weeks ago when I got this book at Strategic Coach that we're both, Strategic Coach members. And I basically went through the book and I was just fascinated with your work, with what you're doing, with your mission. And I love that you talk about the difference between creating value, kids that learn how to create value versus kids that learn how to set goals. Can you explain the difference? Because I think as Sophia right now is embarking on a journey to start applying for colleges and determining what she's going to do, in her young adulthood, that it's so important for her to have that distinction. And she sees it, I think, because we're an entrepreneurial family, but just coming from someone else, I think it's going to hit home. Can you explain the difference?
we're going to have a great conversation today. So I'm the leading expert in financial literacy for kids across the country.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's really about helping our kids and teenagers and adult kids, helping them think about how to create value in the world.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to that. Money is not actually the focus. Money is a result of creating value. It's a store of value.
Yeah.
Right. And so many people, actually adults too, they don't get that. I think the goal is, I just want to make money. I just want to have a bunch and get rich and blah, blah, blah. No, that's a determinant of creating value for other people. And so it starts with this idea of how can you teach your kids and teenagers to create value everywhere they go? And we don't just have, there's lots of types of value out there, and money is just the return of one of them.
Yeah.
So, we have 3 types of value that we talk about in the book and in our app for kids and teens and families called GravyStack. That's our banking app that plays like a game. But it all comes down to this. How are you creating value for the people in your life? Whether it's material value, right? Which is the problems you solve or the things you create and produce. Mm-hmm. That's usually the return is money on that.
Yeah.
But there's also emotional value, right? And spiritual value. Mm-hmm. Right. So, you can create value in all circumstances, in any situation. It gives kids agency and power.
Yeah.
Like being a good friend and helping your friends feel better or think better or having the right mindsets and you growing in your mindsets, doing this show, right, Sophia? That's emotional value. You are generating a lot of gratitude, appreciation, mental health, emotional intelligence. You're helping so many people's lives get better. That's in creating incredible emotional value. But then there's also spiritual value, right? How we can connect to something bigger than ourselves. To me, it's God. I love Jesus. I don't pull any punches. Like, he's the best source of spiritual value ever done. But you know what else was incredible spiritual value? Let's put a man on the moon and bring him home safely by the end of the 60s.
Yeah.
That was like the last time our country was so united.
Yeah.
So spiritual value is immense. It's so important to help people just kind of get out of their selfish thinking.
Yeah.
And start thinking selflessly, connect to something higher and better and bigger than themselves. A great mission, a great culture. Those things connect us. All that is different types of value. Those are stores of value. And so that's the goal is, with our young kids, we got 4 little kids. In fact, one of the greatest stories I ever heard was from Sharon Lecter. Do you know who Sharon Lecter is?
We had her on the show a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we were like starstruck.
Yeah. She's like the godmother of financial literacy.
Yeah.
And when we wrote our book, Value Creation Kid, as we were hitting the bestseller list, I saw her at Lee's house, and basically she said, "Scott, you nailed it. This is exactly what kids need to understand first. It's the precursor to financial skills."
Yeah.
And she said, when I was a kid, my dad, before I'd go to bed every single night, he would ask me one question. Mm-hmm. What value do you create for somebody else today? How did you create value for other people? And she said it was one of the single greatest things that turned her into the person she is today. And she's helped countless. She's probably helped hundreds of millions of people by this point.
Yeah.
And that's the thinking. That's what we want for kids to have. And if you can do that, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about a job. You're going to start adding value, and people are going to be hunting you down to have you work for them, or the businesses that you start, the customers will be finding you like crazy. And so when you do that with kids and teenagers, it's like, oh, I know how to create value in my classroom. I know how to create value on my sports team. I know how to create value in my home, in my neighborhood. It's the best way to go. So that's what we've seen with 6 million families.
That is amazing. When I read that, these 3 types of ways that kids can create value, I thought, wow, what a cool distinction, especially, to teach to our kids, because Sophia, for example, understands, that in her home, if you're a Bosch, you're not necessarily getting an allowance. There's certain things that there's expectations of things that it means to be part of this family. But that can be equated to, there is some material contribution from her, but also emotional, contribution. But also when you said both emotional and spiritual, even waking up, with optimism and positivity and bringing this to the family, that is a contribution, that is creating value within inside of our family as well, that we're not, the one that wakes up every single morning as the Debbie Downer, of the family, because that would be taking value versus, bringing value to the family. So I loved, this distinction of the 3 kinds, because at the end of the day, like you're right, this is the beginning, and that money is only an after effect. Sophia has heard from us. Sophia, money has in it stored, just like you said, stored all the sacrifices, successes, challenges, victories. Basically, it has the best of mom and dad in it. And when we, when we spend it or we invest it, we're giving away the best of us in exchange for the best of someone else, because that's their sort of value, And so I just thought, gosh, where have you been all my life? how come, and how come I only get to meet you now? So, thank you for that distinction. What do you think, Sophia?
I have a question for Sophia.
Yeah.
I might turn this interview around, Sophia.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is your can you think back, like, what was your first dollar you ever made?
Okay, so on behalf of someone else, I was a Girl Scout for so many years.
Oh, nice.
So many years. That was fun. I had to like fully knock on people's door, and many people would say no, and no is the worst answer that you can get. Like,
She had a lemonade stand. She had a little T-shirt business that,
oh my God, yeah.
yeah, that, yeah, you know, we've had a few little things there, and just lately, right now, actually, in this summer, in June, we got her started in the family business. Like, Jack and I started in real estate, wholesaling land. And so we're teaching her right now basically the concept of creating triple wins, of finding a seller, helping them with the burden of property ownership, buying that property at a discount, finding a buyer, helping them realize the dream of land ownership.
Yeah.
And then in the process, basically being compensated by, you know, buying it low, selling it a little bit higher, and being compensated for that value. So
I love it.
So
you're learning all the right skills. I think it's important to start to understand, you know, how the economy works. In fact, I wish that instead of capitalism, I wish it was called value creatism or something. Because that's really how the economy works. You know, we teach this to kids all the time. It's like the economy only grows as you add value to other people.
Yeah.
Right. If you help someone and they help someone else and you get them what they want or what they need, or you solve their problem, that's what the economy is. It's just a bunch of people doing that for other people.
Yeah.
And the pie gets bigger for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you started to understand that at its base principle, then for the rest of your life, it's so much easier to think about how a job or a business works and understand how you just can create value for customers and solve their problems and find what they want, find what they need. I mean, you did it in Girl Scouts. My wife teaches Girl Scouts with my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
We, you know, lemonade and T-shirt businesses, you're understanding cost of goods and profit. You know, the more of that you go through, the stronger you're going to become. Hearing no, that's one of the best things a kid can hear. Now you have resiliency.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it's no is not the worst thing in the world. It's actually one step closer to the next yes. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think right now, you know, when you hear, you know, this concept of creating value for the buyer, how do you feel, Sophia, now? So we have 5 deals under contract right now with approximately anywhere between $60,000 and $70,000 of potential profit. And she sent out letters to the neighbors trying to sell the property to the neighbor.
That's awesome.
She has been terrified, Scott, of calling the buyers and following up with buyers. But now that you hear that you're creating value, how do you feel? Or is there still a little bit of like...
I mean, I feel like I can never get over the fact that I feel like I sound young. So on the phone, I feel like I sound like a 16-year-old kid, like trying to sell a property.
Well, let me
Or trying to buy it from you.
Go
Let me
ahead.
give you a little secret. Adults love kids that hustle.
Yeah.
In fact, we started these children's business fairs like 11 years ago here in Phoenix. Now there's thousands of them all over the world. And we help kids launch their own little business at the fair every year. And all the people come and buy from them. Here's the thing, Sophia. People love buying from teenagers. They love buying from kids. They love like seeing your hustle. And
I do understand that, but then there's the part of them that also feels this is my thinking. There's a part of them that also feels like, oh shoot, this person's also not experienced. So what's gonna happen there? Like they don't feel secure about that decision.
well,
As secure.
a lot of kids feel like they're not prepared, but here's the secret. A lot of adults don't know this stuff.
Yes.
And just because you're an adult doesn't make you qualified to do anything. You've just been on the earth longer.
Yeah.
Right.
So many kids, confident kids that are light years ahead of even parents. I mean,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to watch. But remember this, if you're adding value to someone's life, you're doing a disservice to them by not telling them.
Yeah.
Like good business, if it's good business that helps people, it's almost immoral not to tell them.
Mm.
Like I only have businesses where it's like, hey, I want people to use what we have, like GravyStack.
Mhm.
It is the answer for your family to teach money skills to teenagers and kids.
Right. No, I
We
agree.
gamified the whole thing. It's a bank account. You do gigs at home. You earn money. You cover your own expenses. It's incredible to teach kids money skills.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We will be downloading it, you bet.
Okay, wait, sorry. But today in my math class, we were learning about like exponential functions, but then that goes along with like banking. So we did like word problems of like compounded interest, and people were like, this is how it actually works. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's how.
Interest, the eighth wonder of the world. I mean, it's unbelievable when you think about it. But money's not being taught in school. I mean, you're talking
Right.
complex equations. Why aren't you talking about monthly budgeting and taxes?
Yeah.
Basics here.
Right.
So I feel like this is why it's so important for like families to like bind together around this stuff, because you can't homework money.
Yeah.
Right? Just because your friends learned compounding interest doesn't mean they went home and invested in anything.
No.
You got to do it with real money to actually make it work, or else you're going to have the fear and anxiety around it until you actually do it. And so I think you're light years ahead, Sophia. I mean, I don't think I've met that many 16-year-olds that are sending letters around for real estate. That's an unbelievable thing. That's so
Well, it's easier because if the neighbors around, they already have a property there, so you might as well get another. I don't know.
Yeah. That's
Or, like,
that's our experience, that we sell about a third of our properties to neighbors.
Some people do like 80% of them to neighbors.
Yeah, and the rest, is usually you have to actually market, create a listing, tell a compelling story in a listing based on photos and so on and so forth. So yeah, she's getting a little bit of that, and with an asset class that is very simple, because she doesn't have to think about termites, tenants, repairs, estimating, like nothing. It's like really the simplification. So getting her to, experience a little bit of like what we call, producing active income, so that she can start funding a little bit of, what will be the expense of her future college tuition, and start feeling a little bit also the weight of her lifestyle, and so on and so forth.
Sophia, I have a challenge for you. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Never charge hourly again. Let me unpack that for a minute. Most kids, they think that a job needs to be, I work hard, I get paid by the hour, and it's all based on my time and my effort. Okay? That is a linear way of thinking about how to create value and earn money. My challenge to you is never charge hourly ever again. Because if you do that, you're going to move into what we call the results world. Instead of time and effort, now people can pay you for the results, no matter how long it takes you. So instead of me helping right now, sometimes I'll consult a company and I'll get equity, or I'll get, $50,000 to $100,000 just by helping them for a little bit. If I were to charge hourly like $100 or something, that would be a joke. Because I'm adding millions of dollars of value to the business in an hour with me. If you spend an hour with me, I will add millions of dollars to your business right away. So why would I ever charge an hourly if I'm adding so much value that they're crazy not to pay me? That's how you want to think about your future. You want to move into what we call the results category. So now it's based on the results you can get and the value you create for other people, rather than your time and your effort. So like I just had this happen with another family. They had a 15-year-old kid. It was the Linscombs out of Colorado. And Mindy wanted me, they own a great business up there. They're good friends of ours. And they wanted me to talk to their teenagers. Uh-huh. And so I said, guys, all right, I'm going to teach you, how to make your first couple $100s on a Saturday. Well, they started mowing lawns and weeding and raking and doing things, and they were charging by the hour. and they made like, $150 or something. And then they came to me and I said, what if you went back to those people in this next neighborhood and you charged them $40 for the whole yard?
Yeah.
Or $100 for the whole yard, and you could do that in half an hour. Yeah. What would they care? Why would they care how long it took you? Because you'd work harder. You'd get it done faster. You'd have enough to pay a friend to help you.
Yeah.
Now, I challenged them to make $1,000 in a day, and they did it because they charged that way. And then they hustled, and they did a great job, and they went to all these doors. They made $1,000 in a day.
That is fantastic.
And that was moving from time and effort to results. And you can do this in any job, in any industry. You can do this with web design. You can do this with art. You can do this with selling. You can do this with printing. You can do this with sales. You can do this with real estate. And most of real estate is based off of that.
It's based off of that. Absolutely. So right now we're helping her, flip, because we're starting at zero, and so flip for cash. So quick wholesale. And then eventually there's going to be some properties that I'm like, you can sell using seller financing, and you can start getting a little bit of passive income every single month, So that's kind of like our first initial, idea for her, and just to get a little bit of experience with that. But even right now, as she's wholesaling, she's JVing actually with a couple of her coaches. And she's starting to experience right now what you just said, the fact that she's leveraging someone else's experience. She is bringing value to the table because she's finding the deal, but they're also bringing value to the table because they're more experienced at selling. So, and she will then get a chunk of change, a percentage of the profits that she's going to split off, but she's leveraging a little bit of some other people's expertise and time and creation. And so there's a little bit of...
Partly because I just don't have the time.
Yeah. And she had 5 deals, and I'm like, okay, of the 5 deals, it might take a little bit for you to be able to, get all 5 of them sold. So how about if we keep one that you sell yourself to the neighbors?
Just so I can learn, and then
do the JVing for the other 4. And as, school starts to ease up a little bit, or you get a little bit more comfortable right now with, sophomore year, you can decide, okay, are you going to do another direct mail campaign, to solicit from more sellers, or what are you going to do, So,
so how much is college going to cost you?
Oh, it's a good question.
Depending on the colleges that we looked at right now, anywhere per year, listen to this, per year or per semester, per year, anywhere between $60,000 and $80,000. So I was telling her, with just these 5 deals, you could pay for 1 year of college.
That's right. That's the way you got to think. Results based. If you were to work for $15 or $20 an hour, it would take you a long time to make that money.
Yeah.
But this is a powerful way for you to be able to pay for college ahead of time without going into debt. Right. And it might make you take care of college and steward it better and learn a lot more because you've had to go through the work to earn it and pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She knows. Yeah.
Plus, I'm not that broke college kid.
She doesn't want to be a broke college kid.
Good. I don't want to be a broke anything.
I know. Yeah. So I want to transition a little bit into family. You had mentioned earlier that you had helped a family, also come in, teach their kids about the difference between the results economy versus time and effort economy. I wanted to, in the GravyStack methodology, you talk about first creating value, but you have then house rules, financial competency, and what was the 4th one? Can't remember what the 4th one.
Healthy struggles.
Healthy struggles. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Talk about, on the house rules part, can you walk us through the Donnell family house rules or brand and credo? Because that blew me away how clear it was in the book, and probably how clear it is for everyone in your family. Yeah. It was simple, but yet so profound and so powerful.
Yeah. So I'll just start with this. Kids need heritage, not inheritance. Sorry, Sophia. It's
No, I agree.
it's the more that parents leave to their kids, the more they spoil and entitle and kill the kids' ability to create value in the world. It's more about what you leave in your kids than to them. So it's more about the relationships. It's more about the values of the family. It's what it means to have your last name. It's the skills and the communication, the education, the stuff that you need to succeed on your own. That's what heritage is, right? And so that's what we teach in our workshops. We have these family legacy workshops that we do every month with families. Okay. So people can just go to dinnertable.com and look it up. We have courses on money skills. We have workshops we do. And then we have our GravyStack app. But I will walk you through what we call the home economy system, which starts with 3 E's. Okay. This is our answer to allowance, because allowance is socialism. Allowance is not helpful. Your kids need to earn money. Our kids need to earn their own money, because then they'll spend it, save it, invest it, and share it wisely.
I don't have
protect it and take care of it, and really have a little bit of reverence, because it has the best of them in it, right? The best of you. Yeah.
That's right. And most parents just pay their kids an allowance. Like, oh, good, my kids are getting money and now they're learning how to spend it. Your kids don't need to learn how to spend money. They'll spend it. Or they'll hoard it because they're scared. Mm-hmm. But what kids really need is to be able to learn to earn, right? By creating value. And then the worst of all is when parents are like, well, I don't pay any chores. My kids just do, or I don't pay any allowance. They just do chores like they're told to. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, okay, but now you're paying for everything and your kids never learn anything about money, right? So what you guys are doing, like with the real estate stuff, is brilliant. Like what we have is called the home economy system, the 3 E's. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. The first E is expectations. Though that's the role in the family. You don't pay for certain things that your kids are just a part of your family. This is your role in the home, making your bed and cleaning your room and good hygiene and homework.
Putting everyone's clothes away, whether it belongs to you or not.
Put the clothes away. Like this is things that are the role in the home, right? Yeah. Some parents have more, some have less. But then the second thing is where a lot of parents kind of mess up. It's the second E, which is expenses. Mm-hmm. A lot of parents pay for everything for their kids. And the more you do that, the less you're training them on how to learn about budgeting, on how to pay for things, on how to plan ahead for things, on the price of goods and trade-offs. You're just buying everything and the kids don't learn. But if you start passing off expenses, guess what? Now the kids start to have a motive to earn. Yeah. Okay. Just like you said about college, we have 12 categories of expenses that families should start passing off while the kids are in the home. And these can start as young as age 6. It's birthday presents for friends and social outings with friends and toys and games and trinkets and tech, their first phone. Those are the things that are really helpful for the kids to start to earn. Yeah. But then you got to have ways for them to earn, which is the third E, extra pay. Yeah. So with GravyStack, what we do is we automate this home economy where there's just tons of gigs that you set up for the family. Mm-hmm. And they are ways for kids to make an extra a few bucks by creating value.
Action gigs versus the brain gigs too. I love that.
That's right. So we have thousands of families doing this right now in the app. So what they do is they're like, okay, we want to set up a system where our kids never ask us for money again. Uh-huh. And they have tons of autonomy and responsibility to earn money on their own. So they have an opportunity to earn, tens of dollars, $50, hundreds of dollars a week even, to cover the expenses they're in charge of after they save and after they invest and share. That's what's left over they can spend on those expenses. And so these are things like making a meal, clean the garage, yard work, plan the next family trip, cancel subscriptions that you don't want, get grocery coupons for the next grocery run, organize a closet, clean a bathroom, babysitting, all these fun things that they can do. And those are just the action gigs. Yeah. So now kids have an unlimited potential to earn funds around the house. And the parents, instead of paying for the things for the kids, now the kids are paying. So you're net even. In fact, you're way ahead because now the kids are learning to create value. Yeah. And then we also have brain gigs because, Sophia, I'm going to tell you a little tip. Your brain is your business. Mm. Right. Your brain is how you're going to make money if you want to do well. Yeah. Kids need to learn that. Teenagers need to learn that. And so we have these brain gigs in the app that you can set up a fun way for your kids to learn important things you want them to learn that they've never done before, like PragerU videos and TED Talks and articles, podcasts, read a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And
I read that one.
big, where the kids tell you what they learned and how they're going to apply it, 2 paragraphs or a couple question answered. They put it right there in the app and they can make $5 or $10.
Yeah, I wish I would have known about this sooner, because it's like it would have made it much more fun for Sophia to know that there was this other element of an incentive, behind it, versus, okay, Sophia, this is part of your summer reading. You know how the school gives you summer reading. Well, this is part of mom and dad's summer reading to you, and she got it done. I think you were into it, with the Rich Dad,
It was
Poor Dad.
interesting.
Yeah, for example, that book.
But the thing is, if it's something that like
gamified, it makes it more.
Yeah, but if without it and it on top of it, it's a boring book, then
it's hard. But now
that's it. Like for the last 100 years, parents like, man, I wish my kids would learn X, Y, Z. And there's always an argument over it. There's conflict. The kids are like, I'm busy. I got other things that are more important. Well, this allows you to rank and prioritize the most important stuff.
Yeah.
You've got important podcasts or books or articles or no sugar for a week. How about that?
Oh, you want to pay me?
That you can do to earn extra money to cover the expenses that you're now in charge of. It becomes all of its fun. I just had a dad text
your ticket to the concert, baby girl. There you go.
Concerts is huge. Gas and insurance when they get their car, like these. Yeah. But you have to give them opportunities to make hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now they're learning budgeting. They're learning planning ahead, goal setting. They're learning the price of goods. They're learning trade-offs. They're learning how not to just depend on the parents for everything. They're learning to be self-sufficient. And that is the critical piece that most kids don't ever get until they're out on their own. They're in debt. They make bad decisions. And you guys are way ahead of the game.
She's like,
goal is to help 50 million families become financially competent and use GravyStack as the simple tool to do it.
That's it. We will be downloading it, Scott, for sure, because somebody's already excited about the potential of extra pay.
You can come to your mom and dad with something you want to do. Like a book or an article or a podcast. Like the teenager parents that are using GravyStack right now, they're like, if we have a weekend or a holiday or a Saturday and I want my kids to be focused and do the right stuff, I set up a challenge where it's like, hey, there's 4 things you can do this weekend: brain gigs and a couple action gigs. If you get them all done, there's a bonus. Whoa. So now the kids are on fire. They're listening to Ed Milet. They're like going through like Tony Robbins books. They're going through Atlas Shrugged. They're learning like core principles of real estate. It's just all of this stuff is a fun way for your kids to learn the things you've always wanted to learn. And now you can get grandma and grandpa involved. Now you can get aunts and uncles involved. What if instead of, $100 or $50 at a Christmas or birthday, what if you went to the grandparents and were like, hey, can you give me like 50 gigs? And now you can make like $500 over the next year. And then the grandparents go, wow, yeah, there's a lot of important things I would love for my grandkids to know.
Yeah.
And now there's a motive. Now there's an incentive. Now there's an ability to earn and learn the right things. You see how this is so powerful for families?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all gamified, baby. And we just click and go in the app. That's what's so fun about it.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, can you talk about the Donnell family brand, though? Tell us about that credo.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we've actually edited a little bit because, in there you can see like what we stand for as a family, our mission, vision, values. This is critical for families.
Yeah.
We actually simplify.
I have it open here to the page.
We talk about, Donnell's, leave things better. Donnell's do the right thing. Donnell's do hard things. Donnell's are fun and adventurous. Well, we wanted to simplify it because we started working in our workshops. Right now, we train all these families in our workshops.
Yeah.
We wanted to simplify it and really create stories around it. And so we simplified it to a very simple acronym that Donnell's, it's faith, family, and fish. That's it. Faith, family, and fish. And my 3-year-old says it every day at dinner, and all my kids say it. Fish stands for fun and adventurous, integrity, service, and hard work, which a lot of those are in there that you saw. But now it's faith, family, and fish. And now my kids know what it means to be a Donnell. They know we love God, we love each other, we support each other, and then fish. So now we're looking for stories every day of our kids doing faith, family, or fish. And we're celebrating, we're supporting each other, we're cheering each other on. We do the power clap because our kids are young, which is like, like fun things we all do together. But you want to have a simple family value system that people can remember, that your kids can remember and carry on with them. That's constantly being reinforced, things you're celebrating as a family. This would be a great exercise for you guys.
Yes, absolutely. We talk about these things, but on a daily basis, but we never saw it like this with a vision. Okay, we believe that God loves us and we're free with your mission. We're committed to always supporting each other and creating value for other families.
Yeah.
Values, Donnells make things better. Donnells find the good. Finals find a way. They do the right thing. They have they're fun and adventurous. Just the clarity. I mean, do you have this somewhere, like posted on the walls, probably in your home at some?
We made a family logo and everything around it. It's a fish crest, and it's Faith Family Fish. And you guys just need to join our next workshop. Just come on in as a family. We'll do them all together. We even give you like a logo and a gift from it for your family. Like it's a perfect way to go.
Amazing.
So come on in and join our next Foundations workshop. You guys would love it. I
think so too. Now, Sophia, just, you said right now, we talk about this. We've never formalized it. But what I just want to hear, like, from you right now, what does it mean to be a Bosch?
I mean, service has always been a big part of it. Giving back to others, helping others in any way possible. Carry your own weight. Even like simply, like just like carry your own weight, like physically and mentally, I guess. Like physically, like it started when I was little. Like my mom downsized purses. Like she went from a big purse to like a small purse. She's like, Sophia, I can't carry your stuff. So I had to carry all of my stuff myself,
Be self-sufficient. That's all.
Yeah. But that's like the simple way. But then, and also feel like work hard. We do believe we're born lucky, but that's not enough. You got to work hard for it and back that with hard work.
We call it, we were born lucky, but what that really means for Jack and I, Scott, is that we believe in a benevolent God and universe that is always working with us, not against us, and anything that shows up, it's here for us, not even if it's a challenge, it's there for a reason, and it's for us. It's helping us in some way, shape, or form. So
what a powerful value as a family. Things happen for me, not to me. That's so good. But I think it's time to get those cemented.
To formalize those. Absolutely.
There's probably more, but those are the ones that I could think of like top of my head.
That's so cool, Sophia. That's actually really good off the cuff.
Yeah.
That's off to you. That's awesome.
Now, the importance of creating healthy struggles at home. How can I and anyone that is listening here, to the show, create those at home? Because it's us as parents. I mean, we understand how important it is for Sophia in a safe environment before she goes out to college to struggle and to fail, But at the same time, as a parent, you don't want to see them fail. Like you want to protect her confidence. You want to protect, but there is this level of struggle that is important, that is healthy, that is important for that confidence actually to become stronger, So how can a parent create these at home?
Yeah. So for us, a healthy struggle is any athlete or academic knows what we're talking about here. But a healthy struggle is not tough love.
Yeah.
It's not trauma or neglect or abuse. That's those things you get rid of. Never pass those on to the next generation. But a healthy struggle are the things that help the kids overcome good things, learn capabilities, and then get confidence for the rest of their life to create value. That's the point of a healthy struggle. So we have about 90 of them in the book. that are not taught in schools, by the way. So these are things like emotional skills and relationship skills and business prep skills and practical skills and financial skills, technology skills, budgeting skills, health skills. Like these are healthy struggles that kids can go through. And all you have to do is create a simple environment for them to overcome and figure it out, on their own with your guidance to be able to overcome. Because the goal of all this is for them to earn and get the capabilities and skills on their own, right? So many parents that we meet, they came from a tough life and they say, well, I just want to give my kids all the things I never had.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to deal with all the tough things I had to deal with. Well, what made you, right, Michelle? Like part of it is overcoming and learning these capabilities. And you want to be able to do that in a safe environment. And, so many parents, they're like, every time the kid forgets a meal or the homework, the parent finishes it for him and brings it to school. They fight the coach for playing time. They fight the teacher for the grade. Like so many things happen where the kids aren't learning on their own. And so what we're saying here is not do free range parenting. Don't do, don't do gentle parent. Like there's a ton of parenting strategies out there. The only really good one is the value creation parenting. That's the one that sticks for life. And so I think that it's really about just putting them in systems that's like, hey, how can my kids grow? We have a tool that we do in our workshop. It's the value creation amplifier. And all you're doing is every month, you're seeing what is the number one jump we want to have with our kids in the 3 buckets: material value, emotional value, and spiritual value. And then you're just brainstorming the right processes or systems or challenges or, things that they can do that month to grow in those categories. It's that simple. And if you just do that for the 18 years they're with you, I mean, it's like they're light years ahead. It's like rocket fuel for childhood development. Because I think at the end of the day, as parents, what we want is when they're in the home, there's this like sweet aroma that my kids are like growing, they're thriving, we're deeply connected. It just smells good when I come in the home because it's this like amazing family. But you also want all the other parents to be like, hey, I want my kids hanging out with Sophia. I want my kids hanging out around your kids because when they're around your kids, they're better. And then at the end of the day, when your kids are grown and gone, you want to be able to look at them and say, we did that. You know what I mean? Like just this pride and this like excitement. That's the goal to us, that's what family legacy is.
That's beautiful.
Right.
That is beautiful. Now, one last question and then we let you go. And that is, Sophia and us, we, together came up with the goal of, helping her create a 7-figure net worth, so reach, 7 figures, $1 million in net worth by age 21. She's 16. We have 5 years. So we're on a journey of becoming wealthy and wealth. We gave that as a number just to have, I would say, a target. But she understands that wealth, that number will be a result of taking care of her health, because that's your first wealth, of, really having, and creating amazing relationships in her environment that can help her, and, finding great mentors, great friends that are of good influence and, and that have good values. And she knows how important it is, to have certain experiences and how those experiences will contribute to her becoming and
adding value
and so on and so forth. So we're on that journey, and she understands
faith. Don't forget
and faith, absolutely. And she understands this more holistic approach that we take to wealth in our family. But what would be the one piece of advice that you would give to her in terms of how you were able to create wealth for yourself, and now you're creating wealth for others, through, all the things that we talked about, the GravyStack, your book, the workshops, et cetera, et cetera. What's one piece of advice you could give her that you think, okay, if I was to start over, this was really, if I put in attention on this is like the domino piece that helps everything else come together?
Yeah. Couple pieces of advice, Sophia. The first one is this: show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Usually the five people you spend the most time with is your future, is who you'll become. And in my life, the greatest jumps in everything, my health, net worth, relationships, my wife, my family, my best friends, all of it came from saying, all right, I'm going to do an inventory on the people that I give weight to in my life. I had to say goodbye to some friends that were pulling me back, that really didn't have the same values, they were jealous of success, not supportive. They were focused too much on videos and social media and goofing off and video games and just messing around and dumb things that never helped anybody. I had to say goodbye to that. And I surrounded myself around people that I felt like not just the dumbest guy in the room, but I felt like, wow, I want to aspire to be like the mindset of these people. And now, like, I did this starting when I was young. I would start by going to the teacher of every class I was ever in, starting in like middle school. And I was like, how can I be the best, most helpful student of the whole semester? And they would tell me, what are the 3 things I can do to be the best student and help the most in this class this semester? And they'd tell me it's always different, but I would do that. And I ended up being valedictorian of middle school, high school, college, and grad school. I mean, it's easy when you start thinking about others first. You start thinking about how can you add the most value to other people. I never even did a job interview. I would walk into companies when I was younger and say, I've been studying your business. I found a hole and here's how I can create value. And I only want to get paid when I do it. Boom, there's the job. On the spot, 100% of the time. Okay. So creating value, and it really is the people in your life. So when I want to learn a new skill or a new business, I've had, a dozen businesses. I would go find the best person I could possibly find that had mastered that skill set or that business. And I said, if you mentor me, I'll be the best student you've ever had. And I did everything they said, no matter how hard it was or how long it took. I did everything they said. I became their best student. And then guess what, Sophia? Those people are now my friends. I'm in my mid to late 30s. I have more friends that are in their 60s than anybody my age. Okay. And they're my favorite people to hang out with. Are you kidding me? The wealth of knowledge, the experience, the stories, like they're awesome. And they feel younger hanging out with me. Right. So the first thing I want to tell you is like your network is not just your net worth.
Yeah.
Your network is your future. Okay. That's real legacy, is like who you surround yourself with. So my advice is get with mom and dad tonight and figure out the 5 most incredible people that you guys want to like have over for dinner in the next month. Invite them to dinner, and then you come up with really powerful questions to learn from them at dinner, and really ask them some compelling questions about their life, their experiences, their businesses, their family, their faith, whatever it would be. Learn from them, and you will do really, really well. And then the next piece I would say is this. We call it the sweet spot. And all this stuff, like I can only do so much with like a half hour with you guys, but if we had like a workshop or you gave me a few days, I'll change your life. Like this is what we do all day, in and out. You need the experts to really master family legacy. But I'll say this, Sophia, we call it the sweet spot. Okay. Everybody worries about, oh no, what if I miss my calling? Or what if I don't find that perfect person? No. Forget all that. It's called the sweet spot. It's a triangle. And at the top of the triangle is what you love to do. The things that give you flow time. What are the skills? What if you did it, you would do it for 8 hours without even thinking about anything else. You just absolutely love it. And the second piece of the triangle is what you're good at. Because a lot of people love things that they suck at, right? You want to find things that you're really talented at doing, that it just comes easy to you, that it adds immense value to other people. And you just need to ask your parents, ask your friends, ask your relatives, like, what is that one thing that you're like, you're better at this than anybody else in the world? Okay. Your unique ability. And then the third piece of the triangle is the thing that meets the most needs for others, that creates the most value for other people. And where those 3 things meet, that's your sweet spot. That's what you should be focusing on for the rest of your life. You love it, you're good at it, and it really helps a ton of other people and creates a ton of value. That is my best advice I could probably give you at this age. Do not worry about a job or don't worry about a degree. Skills beat degrees. Okay. So really remember that. Find the best people you can and just ask them to mentor you. Take them out to coffee.
Yes, look at her. She has a little bit of even a little bit of tears. So I think she has an idea of what possibly could be that one thing that you love to do, right? Oh.
What is it? I want to know.
Tell us, what is it?
No, I don't know, but that whole thing and how to figure it out is gonna help me.
Glad I could help you. Glad I could help you.
Oh my gosh. So this is just like a 30-minute podcast episode. Can you imagine? If we did your workshop, we're definitely doing it. So with that, let me say, where can other families have a moment like the one that my own daughter just had right now, in a moment of clarity?
Yeah, we'll give you all the links for show notes.
Okay, perfect.
To the episode for people listening. But yeah, they start with GravyStack, download it and go with the family. It's the best way to go. And then if you guys type in dinner 30, just dinner 30, you'll get a month for free.
Okay.
The app is like $7 a month. And
Okay.
kids on average make mom and dad $1,000 in the first few months. They save them a bunch of money. They earn a bunch. It's incredible.
Awesome.
But then our dinner table workshops that you're talking about, that's just dinnertable.com. Families can just go there and then schedule a call with our team. And we have a bunch of financial or family legacy experts that'll do a consult with the family. And then bring you in if it's a fit. You just come into the next Foundations workshop with us and we'll help the whole family out. So that made my day. I love helping families. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Scott. And for those of you listening, if you love today's show, please go ahead and share it with an important teenager, woman, man in your life. And if your family is into this kind of stuff, which I believe they are, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening, you know where to reach Scott. And Scott, thank you so much for being with us, on Halloween night. I know how important it is, with young children. So thank you so much. And looking forward to connecting with you in the future.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.